Hi, welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, we're back working on this, the Super Dog Fighter from Yokomo. Now, I've done an unboxing and we've built up all the chassis. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link up here. Go check that out first, as you don't want to miss building the chassis. That was a really good one. In this episode, we've got to paint up the body, fit all the electronics, and then we're going to take it racing. So if you're interested in seeing how I got on, stay tuned. Right, let's open it up, take a look at the body and look at how much work it's going to be. So in this kit, you get the body, but you also get an under tray, which is really nice to save the chassis, and you get the wing. So we've got a little bit more work to do, but it doesn't look that difficult. Cutting out the body looks reasonably straightforward. There doesn't seem to be anything too difficult about this one. You've got to get your lines nice and straight at the front and the rear, but fitting this on and off looks to be quite easy. There seems to be a reasonable amount of room in there as well, so I don't think we're going to struggle too much with getting all the electronics in it. Now, one issue obviously is the wheels. Now, these are brilliant from a vintage point of view, but for going carpet racing, yeah, they're not really going to work. And unfortunately, you can't use the rims because of the sizes versus modern track tyres. So I'll put them away and I have placed an order for some new rims. These are from JC Racing, not sponsored or anything, but they do modern wheel sizes that fit the Yokomo connection. So I've got to order a set of those and a set of tyres. Now, I haven't been four-wheel drive racing, so I'm not quite sure what tyres to get. So I'll probably get a few. Now, the one that I'm interested in is the fronts, because the fronts are quite chunky for four-wheel drive, but then I've seen some people run thinner ones to give them more turn-in and to be more nimble. So I might get a couple of extra versions so that I could try and mix and match and see how it performs when we go racing. As being that this will be the first time I've taken it out, it's really just going to be a shakedown, try a few different tyres and see how we go. Now, I have also ordered some new shocks for this as well. I basically went for the Team Associated B6.4 front shocks. I bought two sets from Rochester to put at the front and the rear. Unfortunately, delivery is probably going to be another week to 2 weeks, but I'll put them on the car when we do an upgrade. Also, I've ordered a carbon top deck for it and carbon towers from Lightning Engineering, I think it was. So they'll come in the next upgrade. Now, I have seen some people that have taken this racing and it doesn't look too good. One person broke a hub and another person broke a front drive shaft, and they're running a 10.5 turn. So I think we're going to have to see some modifications. Now, people are saying that the buggy runs well, but I think we're going to have to see an evolving kind of upgrade path for this car as the weaknesses start to show up and things would change. Now, running a 10.5 shouldn't be that difficult for this buggy, really, should it? To blow a drive shaft. Apparently, it never hit anything either, so maybe this is going to be more expensive and more fragile than we'd like. So I thought I'd be brave again and try liquid mask. I picked up this liquid mask from my local RC shop, as this is a bit more of a main brand versus the generic one that I tried before. I had medium success, but then when I actually looked at the painting back, as you can see here, it's just not as precise. So I removed the whole lot and went back to my traditional masking technique, as I can just get better. I guess I'm just going to need more practice with it. Maybe doing the window surround was a bit too much of an ask to start off with. I think if I sprayed it for my air gun and then I did more sort of broad cuts, if I was doing a more simple body than this, it would have worked better. But as you can see, I can get slightly better results just by masking it. While that was drying, the new rims and tyres have arrived. Now, this is all a bit experimental, so I went with some Pro lines to go on the front. I stuck with the yellow Cactus from Schumacher on the rear, as that's what I've been running for quite a while. But really dialing the front is what's going to be the challenge. I've also never tried these Pro line foam inserts, so I thought I'd give them a go on the front and rear. I think grip rolling is going to be an issue until I get the new shocks. As for the colour, yes, I'm not going box art. I'm going to do a bit of a mashup. It's basically going to look a lot like the Masami world-winning car, but I'm using decals that are not exactly for this car, and I wanted to put my own little spin on it as quite a few people are doing the same kind of livery. I also wanted a big pop of colour, so I did all the inside in gold as well as the rear wing in gold. Now I do plan on swapping out the rear wing for a more modern one down the line, but for the first run out I'll use the kit wing. Now the metallic green is absolutely stunning, especially I backed mine in white. You can also back it in silver, but once you remove that protective film it just absolutely pops. Also the decals that I'm using complement this colour amazingly well. You never think that it would actually work, but it looks beautiful. I'm super chuffed with it. Wasn't sure about this decal along the front that goes up onto the windscreen, but it actually turned out down the line that it was my favourite part of the car. Now doing bespoke decals I find a lot more challenging. It definitely takes a lot more time to find the right place for each decal, but I think once you get to the end you really end up with something a little bit more special. So that's the body done. Now it's time to shoehorn in all the electronics. Now this is not that difficult in this buggy as there's a decent amount of space. So after a good few hours it is finished, and yeah, I absolutely love it. It's stunning. Really chuffed with my kind of slight changes with the decals. I was a bit concerned that this on the front was never going to work, but actually it turned out to be my real favourite thing, like I said. So yeah, really like it. I don't really want to take it racing, but I've got to have one vintage four-wheel drive to race, so we're going to take it and try. Fingers crossed I don't break it. It looks gorgeous at the moment and it just wants to go on the shelf, but no, we have all the electronics in it. Now the electronics that are in this currently is all the stuff from my B6.4. Yeah, a little bit spicier than I want, but I will take it easy. I'm not going to be looking to like power myself around. I just want to get used to the car. It's going to take some dialing in, especially as I'm going to change the suspension, but we'll just do a shakedown run, make sure nothing falls off. I've tried to go around and Loctite what I think, so I've tried to build this for being a race car, not a shelf queen. But we can, time will tell, right? Also, I was gifted these pink rims, so I went and picked up a set of black ones from JC Racing, as that's all that was left, as everyone had bought them on, and obviously I was a bit late to the party. But since I was gifted the pink ones, including another set of pink front ones, I thought, well, being that we're going to try a whole new chassis, let's get a range of tyres and see what works and what doesn't work. So the second set that I have got, but I wanted to try something else, so I picked up these. These are Proline Hexon and they're part 8292104 soft carpet. So we'll try those and they feel really good. So I'm hoping that they're going to be really nice. To go with those, as I had the other front rims, I've gone with these. Now these are Schumacher Racing U6895s, Cactus Fusion 2s, four-wheel drive, yellow fronts. So I thought they'll be interested to try those with the rears from Proline, but also to go with the Cactus yellows on the rear to have basically yellows on the front. So we'll see. Also the ones that I've got on the front now, these are Proline if I remember rightly. So that will give me a few other options. Now another thing is obviously because it's been grip rolling and people are saying things like that, I'm going to try a set of front skinnies from a two-wheel drive. So these are the U6901s and Fusions from Schumacher. So if it's grip rolling too much, I'll try these. I actually prefer the look of these on the front. They just look better. These are quite tank-like, great big tyres on the front, but obviously performance is everything and that's what we'll go with. So whether these will be better or not, I honestly don't know. But we'll try them anyway, as it's all part of the experiment. So I think we pretty much covered everything, so I guess the proof's in the pudding. So let's pack it all up and take it racing. And pray I don't break it.
Power this week. More power this week. Double. Let's hope so, it needs to. It needs to go.
Right, so the main goal of this is just a shakedown to make sure nothing rattles loose and that it actually kind of behaves itself in the most basic form. So I'm pushing to about 70%, so it's just a run around the track to get used to how it feels and the tyres that I'm currently using. I was quite surprised, being that I hadn't run it before apart from up and down the street once or twice just to try and true up the steering, how smooth and easy it was to drive. Now, one issue I had is the front tyres that I've got on this, they are the mediums, and it turned out they were a little bit hard, but the bite was okay, but I needed more in the front steering. If I could just ask you to take 2 seconds, if you've watched the videos and you've watched a few and you enjoy it, to hit that subscribe button. 58.6% of you that watch the channel aren't even subscribed. It costs you absolutely nothing. And being that we're such a small RC channel, every new subscriber really helps the algorithm find our content and push it out to more RC fans like you. It jumps okay, no issues there. The suspension actually that came with it, I set it as low as I could get it, and actually I got no grip rolling whatsoever at this track. So I was really happy with that because a lot of people reported that they had tons of grip rolling issues. The one thing that was on my mind all the way around here was don't break it, because obviously if I break something it's going to be very difficult to fix as this has only just come out. But considering I was just poodling around 70%, I was actually enjoying myself. It wasn't a difficult car to drive and it has some real potential. I did struggle with some of the turning. The steering I think needs a little bit of an upgrade. That bar that runs across between the steering. So we survived the first round and yes, I didn't break it. Very positive, super happy with it, but I need more turn in. I was waiting for it to turn in. You wouldn't think it with those massive, great big front tyres, but I think I bought the wrong compound. I should have gone with the softs. Anyway, so I changed them over to the Fusion 2s from Schumacher. These I kind of hoped would give me a little bit more bite, but it turned out to be totally the wrong decision. The car is so edgy at the front that the back is looking to step out all the time, and the car was a total nightmare to run. So it got so bad that I thought I was going to end up breaking it, so I ended up retiring the car. I quickly ran off and changed the tyres back again just so I could put a few more laps in, but with these tyres on the front in this situation it was totally undrivable. Just goes to show you how much difference the tyres make to a car. Don't brake. Oh, sorry. So putting the Fusion 2s on the front of the car was a total disaster. I had to stop driving because I just thought I'm going to break it. It was insanely edgy and there was more grip at the front than the rear. I rapidly tried to turn down the steering to calm it down a little bit, but it made no difference. Those tyres are just way too aggressive. Even with brand new yellow Schumacher Cactus on the rear, I had more on the front and the back just wanted to turn on it all the time. So I really unsettled the car with that one. In the third round, which I didn't record, unfortunately, I put these on, which are two-wheel drive front Fusions, and that wasn't as bad. That probably was on a par with the first set of tyres that I run. But I think I'm narrowing down the tyre that I need to have on the front. Basically, I need to have a slightly wider Fusion tyre, or I need to get a slightly wider cut staggers from Schumacher and maybe not put in the inserts in the front. That's what a lot of people were saying to me, and I kind of found that that's probably the sweet spot between obviously the Fusions being way too aggressive and the cut stagger mediums being not quite enough bite. I'm amazed those front tyres didn't bite more than that, but there you go. But the good news is, A, I didn't break it. B, it was very smooth. Does make a funny sound though. which is really strange. I think it's the belts. It has a kind of resonating sound. I don't know if it showed up in the driving video, but yeah, it has got its very own unique sound to it. So in the next installment of this, I'm going to get new front tyres. Hopefully I should have some carbon parts arriving. Then hopefully the shocks would have arrived and I'll be able to put the new shocks on it. Actually, the shocks that are on this aren't as bad as what people were making out. In their most lowest setting, it was okay. But I still would want to run the buggy lower than that, and the only way to do that is to change out the springs. But I'm just going to go to the B6.4 shocks, as I love those. I love the way they felt when I was driving, so putting them on this. But that's going to come in the next episode because they're not... They haven't come into Rochester RC yet, but as soon as they do, they'll come over, and then I'll take it racing again and we'll do another video on it and see if I can improve things. Also, I have another body set which I'm going to run that's much lighter than this one, a very simple one. Basically, I'm going to do one just like my Cougar with a bit of smoke, because this is actually very heavy because I've got tons of paint and stickers and all kinds of things, so we're going to do that. May look at changing out the turnbuckles to get some titanium ones. See if we can lower the weight, because it is a bit of a heavy old girl, and also change the rear spoiler, and then see if we can move up the times and start setting some proper times instead of just shakedown. One thing that actually went in the final was the steering went, and it turns out I thought I broke something, but I didn't. The servo saver that's in this, you can finger tight adjust it, and I thought the bolt came loose, but it wasn't. It was actually the finger tight bit went down and it was jammed, so I had a quick look at it to see if I could actually tighten it up by hand, and I couldn't, so I need to do that. So the final didn't go too well as I lost more and more steering, but then I stopped. But the whole point of the day was to actually just get used to it, see how it runs, hopefully not break it, and just to make sure it wasn't a total basket case, which it isn't. And it has got potential, because I was a bit worried that I just wouldn't like it at all. But I think we can polish this up and then start setting some really decent times. So that's what's coming in the future. So if you don't want to miss that, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.